There's always something that needs a little fixing on Farpoint Farms.
Hey guys, it's Eric here at Farpoint Farms. Hey, before I get on to tonight's video, don't forget I've got a second channel that is 100% dedicated to automotive stuff just like this. And we have a new website, farpointfarms.com. Hope you'll join us over there as well. Anyway, on to tonight's video, the FOXWELL NT809TS. This, I love playing with scan tools, and this one is a super nice one here. This is a pro level scan tool. What is cool is, of all the scan tools I have played with, whether they are mid-level or pro-level, I have never seen one that had tire pressure monitoring system programming capabilities built in, as well as being a regular bi-directional scan tool. This one manages to do both, and we're going to get to play with this tonight. They reached out to me, asked if I'd be interested in reviewing it. I was like, yes, of course, because as well as loving all things radios, I love all things automotive. So check this out. We've got ourselves a nice blow molded case here. And the kit, let's take a look at what it comes with. Right here, right off the bat, we have a Bluetooth dongle. That is going to be for our OBD2 socket. A lot of our pro-level bi-directional tools are now going to cable-less, right? So we're just having Bluetooth. And so there we go with that. Looks like we have a charging cable here. Yep, nice USB-C charging cable. And it does come with 4 programmable tire pressure sensors, so that is really cool that it comes with that, because I mean, sensors are not cheap. So the fact that you could probably program a whole set of snow tires with it is a pretty nice addition. Then we do have our color manual here, it looks like, or maybe black and white manual, it looks like. And that is 77 pages all in English, so that is a full-featured manual and something I'll definitely have to go over. It looks like we have a quick start guide maybe, or TPMS programming guide. Yeah, quick start guide, showing us how to program sensors and how to use the tool in general. So cool. All right, let's go over to this side. And here's the main tool. Oh yeah, get that out of here. Here we go. And so what we're looking at here is an 8-inch tablet. Nice blow molded case that goes with it, like a nice rubberized sides here. Does have a camera on the back with a flash, and it does have this, which is a nice stand. Okay, and with the stand also, if you're in the car, you can hang that over the steering wheel, and that allows you to do your work pretty easily. Up on top, regular USB plug and a charging port and a power button. And that is that. So I'm going to move the camera down a little bit. We're going to go ahead and turn this thing on. Okay, once registration is complete, we are here. We have diagnostics, tire pressure monitoring, OE sensor, we have maintenance, update, data manager, my account, firmware update, video scope, so there is some additional things you can get for this, settings, auxiliary tools, remote viewer, VCI manager, coverage list, and shop manager. Shop manager, actually, we'll start with that, right? Vehicle history, workshop, and customer. So I can add a customer database in here, add user, right? I can even give them a picture of the vehicle, or I could get a picture of the customer. I mean, that's pretty sweet, right? And then I can add a vehicle to that customer. This is great stuff to have on a handheld device, and I'm just blown away that this has got this. Like, this is pretty wild stuff here. All right, I'm gonna back out of that. Vehicle history, if we have cars that we've already worked on, it's going to show up there. All right, so let's get out of that. Coverage list is going to have pretty much every vehicle that you play with. And you got your brand select, right? We can go in and, let's look at Bentleys. How about that for fancy? Please select vehicle, Bentley, and it's going to pull up all the models, right? Select sub-vehicle, Continental Series. How about that? Oh, that's pretty wild. We'll get out of that. And we've got, let's go back. We've got auxiliary tools. Let's take a look at that. So we have our camera. Let's go ahead and take a picture. Let's take a picture of something cool. right? And then if I want to look at the pictures, there's a picture right there. And there it is, right? There's a picture I took just a second ago. So we have the ability to take pictures and videos, which is really neat that it does do video as well. I don't know what kind of video it takes, but we'll take it, give it a shot here. All right, we took a quick video. We'll go back in there and play that. Nice. So if I'm doing a digital inspection for a customer, this is totally going to cover all of that, and that's really cool. Okay, so let's get out of that. We can pretty much show anything we want to somebody that way. All right. Back to the home, we have video scope, which this unit does not have. Firmware update, I feel like that's fairly self-explanatory. And then we also have settings. Let's go into settings. Do we want imperial or metric? Language, font size, sorting, sort or tile so you can move stuff around if you're using something more on your own. Quick support, remote control, tire pressure monitor, sales region, system settings. And this is literally Android based if you hadn't figured that out. So we have Android stuff here, right? We can go into that if we needed to. Well, I'll tell you what, let me go into system settings again. We'll take a look at what this is. So it is an i70 Plus tablet underneath it. I don't know who makes that, but y'all can look at that. Somebody asked me that on the last one of these I did. So there you go. And I think it also should tell us 1 gig of RAM, 32 gigabyte of storage, Android version 9. So pretty darn recent kernel version from 2022 late of, and of course this is before I've done any updates, so that's pretty awesome right there. All right, we'll get out of that. And then we also have some other stuff here. If for some reason you had a vehicle that was causing issues, like it was crashing, a lot of times that can be cleared by either clearing the app data or clearing vehicle software and then just reinstalling that particular one. Product model is listed here, hardware version, so you can see some of this stuff is definitely probably needs to be updated. So the last time this was updated was Christmas, and now we're in March, early March when I filmed this. So we've got that. We got to update here in a bit. We'll get out of that. Firmware update we've already talked about. VCI Manager is pairing our tool. Well, since my tool is not plugged in right now, that's not going to work. Remote control is if you want to go in there and let them take a look around and see what's going on with your tool, you're welcome to do that. And then we have my account, which I've already set up. Farpoint Farms is already in here, right? Farpoint Farms, and you could add all your business info if you wanted to do that as well. Products, feedback, and suggestions, so they do have a thing there. And then let's go to the main page where all the money's at here. So Data Manager, that's going to hold on to the cars that we've worked on and keep that. Of course, update is ultra important. I'm not going to do the updates right now, but they're going to be making updates for this all the time, like all scan tools do nowadays. And so this is something you're going to, every time you turn the tool on to use it, you're pretty much going to ask, hey, is there anything available for updates? And I'm sure that when this thing is done looking, there's going to be quite a few, even just in the last 3 months. It's amazing how quickly the automotive industry moves along and how quickly updates are required. Look at all these. Holy smokes. 96 software updates. That'll take a little while, so I'm not going to do that while we're waiting here. And some of these are quite large. Some of them are small. But they're constantly upgrading these things and making them better, and I really appreciate that. Okay. All right, we have done the updates and shown it. Let's go into maintenance. So here's all the many things that we have that we can do with this as far as bi-directional maintenance resets. Air fuel adaptation, ABS service, battery relearns, clutch adaptations, CVT work, diesel particulate filter, dashboard, evap and smog tests, EGR resets, electronic parking brake resets, fuel pressure tests, G sensor relearn, headlight relearn, injector coding, language changing, occupant detection system initialization. That's one that not all these tools come with. Oil light resets, occupant detection system initialization, oxygen sensor tests, prime your fuel pump tests, airbags, crankshaft relearn, seat matching, steering angle sensor, tire pressure monitoring, turbos, transmission, and oh my gosh, automatic transmission oil resets, throttle position sensor, and windows and door relearns. Is that enough? If that's not enough, I don't know that there are many tools out there to offer more than that, to be quite honest with you. Tire pressure stuff, if we want to get into it, literally this is a tool that most, you're usually going to have to buy your own tool. And this is where I'm going to finally probably head on out to a car here. Let's go to
Here we are back out at the
Mitsubishi.
car. Sorry if there's kind of a bit of a reflection in that corner, but there's not a whole lot I can do about that. It's very cloudy out, so I'm surprised. All right, we're going to go into diagnose like we were talking about, and we're going to play. You can go straight to M in this case, right? And there's our Mitsubishi. It's telling me with that arrow that, hey, there is a download for it, but we shouldn't have to do this. This is a little bit of an older car. We're going to go with Smart VIN. That's going to read our VIN number for us. Boom, there it is. And here we go, Mitsubishi Mirage 2018, all the stuff that you need to know. We're going to hit continue, and we're going to go to diagnose, and let us go ahead and quick scan all of them. Let's see how long that takes. Okay, so that took about 50 seconds to go through, 11 different systems on this. Let's take a look at our report. And you can see fault in the ABS, fault in the tire pressure, fault in E-TACS, fault in keyless entry. Don't freak. A lot of times these faults are stored codes, right? So these are things that happened a while ago, things that don't matter. So low tire pressure, tire 3 was a stored code in both tire pressure and E-TACS. Guess what? I just replaced the tires. It probably registered the loss of air while I was doing that. Stored DTC can timeout. That's nothing. That just means I probably had the key on or something like that. And the keyless immobilizer. All these are low tire pressure, and that one just says, hey, you probably left the key on too long. So no worries there, but it's nice to have that. Now, we can go back, and if we want to report on that, we can save this. Let's do that. We're going to save it. We're going to save and email it. We can enter in our mileage here. All right, we've got all this date codes and stuff like that. We can add photos if we want to, right? So we're just going to save it. All right, let's get back out of that. I don't want to erase it yet. We can say OK. Now let's go into an individual control module, and we will go into the main engine here, just so I can show you live data and stuff like that. I'm not going to make this a 30-minute video, but I do tend to go long. Again, we can read codes, we can clear codes, but let's go into live data and take a look at that real quick. Already you can tell, if you're a tech, you can already tell that this is a pro level tool. You can tell what it's doing, you can tell that it works well. Let's see, target idle speed, vehicle speed. Well, let's get some stuff that'll dance around for us. Advanced ignition, injector duration, short-term fuel trim. Oh yeah, I think that's probably good. Throttle actuator. Okay, let's go with that. And here we are with a chart. Rev the car. And we're getting changes right now. If I want to see this in graph, I press graph. There's our ignition advance. There's my injector duration. There's my short-term fuel trim, which should be everywhere. That's looking good. And here's our throttle actuator. Should be flatline until you press the gas, then it should jump up, and then we let off and it drops back down. Now we can multi-graph it, right? We can have 2 or 3 things going at one time. And we can merge the graphs so they overlap. Never been a big fan of overlapping graphs, but it is something that you can do here. You can see it gets a little bit confusing. Of course, you can record all this. You can record this stuff and we can watch this happen. And so if we're test driving a car, we don't really need to pay attention. And we're going to save that. Now I can go back once I get back to the shop and look over all this stuff and see, hey, what was going on there? I felt a hiccup there. So that's a really cool feature that this has. If you're not familiar with scan tools, this is how we make our money doing this stuff. A lot of times it's not turning wrenches under the hood. It's actually turning buttons on a computer. It's really crazy. So here's all the things that we can do, and I'm not going to activate this because I do have the car running. Activate the fuel pump. I can advance or retard ignition timing. I can turn my radiator fan high and low. That's important, that one there. If I have a car that comes in overheating and I want to verify a radiator fan operation, I can take the relay, the fuse, and the ECT out of the loop right there. If I fire that thing up on low and high and she turns on, I know that everything's working. Oil control valve. I can cut an injector. I have an AC relay I can click on and off. So that's pretty cool. And that's just this car. A lot of cars have a lot of, like modern Volvos, modern Lexus have probably 50 things you can control bidirectionally. And that's just in engine. So we can get into CVT. Let's go into, let's see, let's go into ETAX. ETAX is like our central CEM, central module here. And so we'll go into live data here and see what kind of live data that's going to show. Driver's door unlock, it's like our main computer here that's controlling the interior of the car. Door switches, rear switches, battery voltage. You see what I'm talking about. So, okay, let's go with fog lamp, and we'll look at that, and I'll show you here. Here's our fog lamp, right? I've turned my lights on, and my fog light's on, fog light's off. So if you want to test, hey, does this switch work? Yeah, you could get out a multimeter and tear off the half the cover on the bottom of this thing and try to get in there and figure it out manually, or you can just hook up this FOXWELL scan tool and go into diagnostics. It's pretty cool, pretty cool. All right, let's back out of that. Back out of that. And back out of that. We'll get out of this altogether. I think you guys get the idea. ABS. I mean, every module you see here, electric power steering, occupant detection, steering angle sensor, all these things, they're all available for you to mess with. Get into transmission. You'll see there's more. I'm not going to go into any more of the data, but you get the picture, right? So we have it all there. So as far as diagnostics, OE level diagnostics, you can get into every subsystem, which is really cool. All right, let's back out altogether, and we'll... Ooh, I love the Star Trek reference there. Thank you very much, FOXWELL. I love it. That is a reminder to pull out the Bluetooth dongle so the customer doesn't drive away with half of your scan tool. And believe me, my friends, it happens. All right, we're going to go home, and let's get into tire pressure monitoring systems. We'll go back in. I don't think there's a ton that I can do here because it doesn't need anything, but we'll pick a car. We'll pick our beautiful Mirage here. Gotta love the Mirage. If you're not a fan of the Mirage, something's not right. All right, so I can go outside, and I'm going to walk out of the car here right now, and I'm going to trigger these to read these codes. So this is a tire pressure monitoring system. It is going to allow us to read the pressures on the tires. So let's do that right now. All right, it read that one. All right, now it wants me to go to the passenger side. Quick to read. And so here you are. Check it out, right? KPH, you can change that to PSI. Oh, there we go. 34, 33, 33, 33. And it's giving our frequencies, and it's giving our IDs. And if it had a full-size spare, you'd be right there doing the same thing with it. Awesome. You can go into programming and say, hey, I want to change one of these sensors around. Well, we have our tool to program it. We can go into diagnostic data. Yeah, so it doesn't have anything to diagnose because there's nothing wrong with it, but let's go ahead and back out, and I think that pretty much wraps up the tool. I think I've covered them all at this point. An incredible tool. I mean, honestly, it just blows me away. I've been in this business since 1993 professionally. I started turning wrenches in 91 as a shade tree. You can't imagine how much has changed over the years. We've gone from carburation to basic fuel injection, OBD1 if you want to call it that, to OBD2, which was literally just a one screen display that gave us a P code, to this. And so I've gone through all of that into the from carburation to electric cars, and I've worked on all of them too. It blows me away what we have, what we can do with a relatively inexpensive tool like this, and how deep you can get into systems with a tool like this, and how this would have been, $8-9 grand easy just 5 years ago. And now this is, less than $1,000, and if you catch it just right, probably a lot less than $1,000. So I guess that'll do it. I don't know what else to say about it. It's a great tool, the FOXWELL NT809TS automotive diagnostic and TPMS scanner. It's got everything you'd ever want out of one, that's for sure. I'm pretty happy with it, and this is going to make for a great addition to working on cars here on the farm. I'll leave a link to where you can get it, and I hope you'll check them out. Take care.